Day 7, a little rain and some new discoveries. Let's talk. Welcome to the HMNS Beyond Bones podcast. I am your mental curator, as always, Johnny Hamburger. And this is Dino Dig Adventure Day 7. I had a feeling last night. Anyone else kind of get these kind of feelings? I had a feeling that I was neglecting my work. Like I was out here in Wyoming doing this, digging up dinosaur bones for the museum, and I got this feeling that, I've been putting off some work. And then I realized, this is the work. And what an awesome feeling it was to know that I'm having so much fun, having a blast doing this. And this is the work. This is my job. If you would have told me at 10 years old, and for younger listeners, in 1993, I was 10 years old when Jurassic Park came out, which is the perfect time for a movie like Jurassic Park to come out when you're 10 years old. So when I was 10 years old, if you would have told me, hey, in 20-something years, you're going to be a rock star, I would have been like, oh, wow, really cool. That's awesome to hear. I'd been an articulate 10-year-old. But if somebody also came up to me instead and rather said, hey, in 20 or so years, you're going to be working for one of the best museums on planet Earth, and you're going to be going out to document fossil digs, and they're going to just set you loose to be a geek and talk about geek things and document geek things and make videos about all sorts of geek things, I would have been like, nah, that's not a real job. You're pulling my leg. That's a joke. Don't be cruel. Nobody can do that for a living. Being a rock star is much more feasible, is much more believable than actually working for a museum. Nobody does that. That's what I would have said when I was 10 years old. But here I am, 38 years old, working for the Houston Museum of Natural Science, getting to do this extraordinary adventure with y'all, documenting us digging up fossils, or in some cases trying to dig up fossils. I think most of us, if not all of us in the group, have at least found bone fragments. But it's been a blast documenting all of this. To wrap up what I was saying earlier about, dream job and somebody telling me you're going to work for the museum and me not believing them. The person would also have to say, before you do work for the museum though, and this is so similar for all sorts of careers, before you kind of settle into your groove. I didn't settle into my career groove probably until my mid-30s. The person telling me I was going to work at the museum when I was 10 years old, they would also have to say, but first you're going to be a janitor, then you're going to make sandwiches at Subway, then you're going to deliver pizza, then you're going to be a waiter, then you're going to be criminally underpaid in radio for 10 years. And then it'll all work out. It'll all come together. And the Houston Museum of Natural Science will make you the YouTube channel manager and set you loose with a camera and a microphone to go document the coolest things in the world. But there'll be a lot of build up to it. There'll be a lot of crud jobs before it. I didn't mind being a janitor, actually. I kind of like that. I would play my cassette Walkman, Youths cassette Walkman, and just jam out to Stevie Ray Vaughan and clean up kindergartner puke. Side note, kindergartners were way cleaner than high schoolers by a long shot. Anyways, let's talk about the dig today. We did get rained on for a little bit, and if any of you are listening right now who are with the group and we're here this day, it didn't rain that much. But did you see what it did to the dust and the clay and what it turned the ground into, and how it all just caked onto our shoes? That tiny bit of rain caused quite a bit of nuisance. So you can imagine that if it was a little bit more rain, then it would be pretty darn miserable up there. But it was not miserable. The day was actually nice. The weather was nice. The rain cooled us off quite a bit. It actually felt pretty nice. But that was the remarkable weather we had today. And I know we've been doing these updates, and I've kind of, some might be thinking, well, what more updates can you give? We've been digging for 4 or 5 days. Is there anything new? We've kind of heard this, but we did discover something new. A new discovery was made on site. So let's hear from David Temple. I had a chance to walk and talk with him after dinner at the Ponderosa.
Highlights of today, lots of digging. visiting with other visiting paleontologists. That's rather redundant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And finding the gastrolith. Those are kind of cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of our guys got to dig on bones, so move some people around, so that always makes me feel good. So everybody's getting a lot of time working on the Barosaurus, which is good. Yeah. So people that had dug for a couple of days without finding much are now getting to work on major pieces.
Was it a fiend? Oh no, it was a humerus that Phil and Carter were working on.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. That's a huge bone.
Yeah.
And then there's another part of the quarry where they were working on some Barosaur verts, and some of the guys got rotated over there. So I think people had a really good day today.
Interviews went well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that did go well.
Yep.
And I'm kind of curious to hear how the one with
Tom and Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden went.
While David and I were chatting, Tom from England, British Bob, wanted me to meet some of his new friends he's made on this trip.
Friendliest dogs ever.
Hold on a second, Tom. Tom, is this the dog you said is nice to you? Because English dogs are mean.
Horrible. These guys are so cute. Get an interview with them.
What do you think, Peppers?
Sky, you just did an interview.
Is his name really Sky, or just because his eyes are blue?
Sky and Midnight, yeah. Hey, Midnight.
How do you know their names?
We met the owners, and the owners are lovely people.
Hey, there's a Pomeranian named Pistol.
Oh, you guys. You guys.
What do you think, Tom, about hearing the gunshots today?
Oh, they kind of spooked me. I thought they were getting closer, but
no.
That was just the freedom noises.
Tom says hearing gunshots in the distance are freedom noises. Anyways, let's talk to Aiden about what he thought was the best part of the day. Aiden, what was your highlight for the day? What do you think was the coolest part of the day?
Finding the gastroliths, probably.
That's what David said. Did you find that?
Yeah,
you found it. Yeah.
It was closer to me in proximity.
What's significant about a gastrolith? What is it?
They're stones that like animals will swallow, like birds and like modern gators will do it to help like digest and crush their food. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of rare, and they're also kind of neat because like it's stone from somewhere that's not the walk quarry, so it's been like polished and smoothed out by the stomach acid and stuff in it. I guess it's important because it can maybe tell us where the animal's been, but it's just cool.
Yeah.
Because it's not something you find. It's just a rock. Like it's less bone than the bone is, but it's cool.
Right. It's a rock that's not from here.
Dave might know the significance of it.
So as David and Aiden said, a gastrolith is a rock that the dinosaurs swallowed to help it digest food, just like a lot of modern birds and alligators. So that's very neat. It means that the animal was somewhere else before it came to Walk Quarry and died. I thought it'd be interesting to ask Tom if he felt newly inspired by digging for dinosaurs in the United States, that he would try to do so back home in jolly old England, mate. Tom, do you think you're going to go on any digs when you get back to England?
There's not too many, I don't think. Not too many.
Have some in right, I think, but that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the only places.
White.
Yeah, Isle of Wight, and then I think the South Coast, I think.
I'd definitely look into it then. I mean, the thing is with my home country, I was saying other countries, they're just not as scenic as America. Like,
I'm sure there's...
Oh, I don't know.
You get out of the country outside of London, it's probably...
You walk around the coast, you find a lot of like ammonite.
It's just because you're used to it.
Oh, yeah.
This is all crap to us.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
This is like the most beautiful state in the world.
Yeah, this is legitimately gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm very glad I've had this experience, because normally I'm off to the touristy spots, you know?
So, you got to dig dinosaurs here, gunshots. What other American things?
Redneck tan.
A redneck tan.
I'm actually pink right now.
As it happens, moments earlier at dinner, I asked for Tom's nonsense opinions of sunburns. He's truly insane when it comes to his opinion of sunburns. Tom likes sunburns. Explain.
Because I know I'm going to get a good tan. I mean, most of the people in England back home, they go on sunbeds, but I just like to burn, so I know I'm going to get a good tan.
What did you tell me today that you like the way it feels?
It does. It feels nice, like a little burn on your neck. It's like a challenge, you know?
You're nuts. You're a nutter. Tom likes the way sunburns feel. That's not safe. He was worried that his mom would hear this and have some words for him of concern. Yes, Mama Tom, tell your boy to put on some more sunscreen. And Tom, I don't care if I got you in trouble with your mom. Your mom's right. You need to protect your skin. You don't want to be messing around with skin cancer. Protect yourself. So, public service announcement over. I want to do something a little bit different here, and maybe you will enjoy it, maybe you won't. I have a feeling that most people will enjoy this. I want to put you down in the cut with us. So I put the microphone, my tape recorder, I still call it tape recorder even though it's a digital recorder. I put the tape recorder down in the cut, down in the dig near David Temple while he was digging and checking some things out with Chuck next to him, and Aiden was in the middle there, and they were finding some fascinating things. So I'm just going to let it roll here for a few minutes. Let's just listen in live, so to speak, with what it sounds like to be in the cut.
Oh. So tell me right here. I think there's a little tick mark that's in that thing right there.
Where?
You see this square thing right here?
Yeah, the square?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Let's see where it is, the middle of that.
Let me see. I can't. I'm
There you
blind.
go.
The middle of the tick.
Yeah, there should be a little tick mark that's up there on that thing.
On that thing at the bottom, right?
Yeah, the smaller
Yeah.
scale.
I see it. Yeah, it's between 20 and it's right at 25.
Right at 25. Okay, that's pretty good. So this is a 25-degree slope going down like this. Now, this is probably a little bit inaccurate because to make it really accurate, you need to have something that's a lot longer than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, 25-degree dip.
So you probably want to explain to the speaky thing what you just did.
Are we sure?
I don't know. Well, we've been talking about it for a minute, and the speaky thing has no idea what
Oh,
we're
there is a
saying.
speaky thing there.
So I'm dead rolling.
Okay.
Y'all just have a educational conversation or satirical, whatever you want to do. I'm sorry, David. Hold on a sec. I'm sorry. Chuck, can we just pause the music for a moment while we're doing the little recording?
It's Led Zeppelin.
It's sacrilegious to say it. I know it.
Led Zeppelin. Good
Anyways,
Lord.
I'm sorry. We're still
Okay.
going, David.
So let's see. What we were doing, what I was teaching my intern Aiden Chang, aka Rodolfo Chang. We were working with a Brunton compass, and we're digging in a zone where just above this we actually did find a bone. But one of the geologists here hypothesizes that this was an oxbow lake, and the sides of the lake sloped, and there might be more bone kind of towards the bottom of the lake. And there was a lot of energy, so it sort of stirred up these sort of larger limestone rip-up clasts. So if you listen briefly, if you hear this, that's a big rock. That's a big rock. That's a big rock. Those are also disappointments because we were hoping they were bones. But anyway, they seem to be lined up pretty evenly in sort of a downward slope, and so we were just using the Brunton compass, the inclinometer on the Brunton compass, to calculate the dip or the slope of this ancient oxbow lake. And it looks like it's probably 20-25 degrees or so. And so if we kept drawing a line 20 or 25 degrees down, we'd get to the bottom of the lake. And maybe we would get to more bones that way. So that was one of my thoughts. But so that's what we were doing. And between my old man eyes and Aiden's inexperience with the Brunton compass, we were having to sort of wrestle with it a bit. And sometimes in the field, we do a lot of compasses. So for instance, if you look at this line where the bone bed goes, the bone bed is lined up almost perfectly north-south. And why do you think that, what would north-south tell you? Why would that be important?
Poles?
Excellent specimen. Not so much poles, but also it would tell you which way when the flood event happened.
Yeah.
The flow of the water.
Yes.
So so this kind of makes sense. It's kind of cool. Compasses are very useful. We use a lot of those in Seymour. And you can also take, if you're going to build a map, you can take bearings and do things where you can reconstruct it in 2D using that. Does that look like bone to you? It is. So most of the bone here is a dark, sort of black color, and the rip-up clasts are kind of a khaki color.
They're like light on the outside.
Right, and these are in a little bit more angular. This is smooth and it's black, but it could be just
It's also budging a lot. So
yeah. Well, we'll pull it out eventually. Hey, do you have you don't have your loop, do you?
no, I don't have my loop.
Another failure and disappointment.
You didn't give it to me.
I did give you a loop.
No, you never gave me one. You told me to ask you today to give you one.
What? I did?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that?
No, you told me to ask you to...
Is this your weasel way of getting
No,
out?
yesterday you were like, ask me tomorrow for a loop.
Okay, there you go. Although you never asked. So look at this with the surface. Look at the surface of this with your loop and see if there's any texture on it at all. So if it looks like it's got if it looks like bone or it's just a smooth pebble. If there is a trabecular surface there that looks like it might be bony or woody. Okay, you got it? So do you know how to use a loop?
Vaguely.
This is going to be horrible. You're not going to like me for this. You got to get super close and you got to get your eyes super close. This means you're going to have to plant your face in the dirt.
It's fine.
Chuck, get your camera out. We can take a picture of Aiden with his face in the dirt. There you go. That's good. And remember, when we show the family this picture, we need to ask if there's trouble at home because he's engaging in this weird behavior. You probably got to get closer than that. No, that's good. That's good. You're good. You're in there. So you can see it. You're nailing it. That's good.
So what is this supposed to look like?
What, is it just smooth or is there any kind of texture on that?
There's texture because no, not really.
There you go. Okay, it's another sort of water polished class. So that's good. We can go ahead and pull it, I think.
Wait. Get back in there. But I
Oh, now we got to do one for his
For the
Christian
fans.
Mingle profile. I think this is what they were calling a meteorite.
So Dave, like right here.
Oh, my God.
It's nothing, is it?
You know, that's how
No.
it goes.
Here, you need to clean this with your saliva.
Don't know.
This is way too muddy for me to do.
I'll do it.
But yeah, I think
Okay, remember when we were here? What would be a highly polished rock that doesn't look like any other rock around here?
It's funny where that.
Oh no! So go show that to one of the walking bosses and say you think you found a coprolite. Not a coprolite. I'm sorry, a gastrolith. Tell them you think you have a gastrolith.
Is it actually or it's not?
No, that stands a very good chance of being a gastrolith. It would help if you carried it over in your mouth and hand it to the guy all wet with your saliva. Of course, you'll have a mouth of mud at the same time.
Like we were.
Dave says gastrolith.
Don't say Dave says gastrolith. I'm supposed to be making you look like a hero or an idiot.
Yes, say, is this a gastrolith?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
there's a very good chance of being a gastrolith.
Woohoo!
Very good.
In that, what you just witnessed was the discovery of the gastrolith in real time. And here's another amazing discovery.
Oh my God. I can't believe you found this. Did you find this?
Yeah, it's on the ground right here.
Oh my gosh, you found this?
Yeah.
You know what this is?
No.
It's a piece of trash. It's shiny trash, though. You get credit for that.
False alarm. Well, moving on, Alex from the BHI crew had some knowledge to share with us. Knowledge on why we find the fossils the way they are.
Do you want me to explain what taphonomy is? Sure. Taphonomy is the study of what happens to an animal as it becomes a fossil. So as it dies, what happens to its bones and bodies as it decays, and then what happens to it as it's buried and scattered around. Sometimes scattered around, as in the case here. Other times they're articulated, found as they would have been in life position. But here we have a bone bed, probably from an oxbow lake, that experienced multiple flooding and storm events that scattered these dinosaurs around, jumbled them up. And so that's why over there, for example, you see vertebra stacked on top of each other and a limb bone here and maybe another limb bone from the opposite end of the animal over here on top of it. It's just all the kinds of things that can happen as a fossil becomes a fossil.
So you're saying Jurassic Park, when the dinosaur was laying there perfectly articulated, that's not how every fossil comes out of the ground?
No, in fact, that's spectacularly rare. What Alan Grant was finding in that first Jurassic Park that modeled after a Deinonychus, they call it a velociraptor, that would be a spectacular specimen that we would love to get our greedy paws on if it actually existed.
Man, that's so weird that movies exaggerate things. Can you even imagine? What kind of world do we live in where movies don't get it right all the time, and in fact, make things up? Craziness. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the HMNS Beyond Bones podcast. We have one more day of digging, So day 8 will hopefully be another day of digging, hopefully some more discoveries. Either way, I'll do a recap of it right here in the HMNS Beyond Bones podcast. And after that, we do a little bit more sightseeing before coming home and going our separate ways, having made friends all along the way. What a truly wonderful experience this has been so far. At any rate, I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening to the HMNS Beyond Bones podcast. I am your mental curator, Johnny Hemberger, reminding you, as always, to be safe and be curious.